traumatic experiences, be they physical pain, emotional loss, or various forms of abuse, trigger a significant response in a part of the brain known as the amygdala. The amygdala, often referred to as the brain's survival center, plays a crucial role in processing emotions, particularly those related to fear and threat. When activated by trauma, the amygdala essentially goes into overdrive, heightening our state of alert and readiness to respond to perceived dangers. This activation is an innate, unconscious response, a primal mechanism ingrained in our neurological wiring to protect us from harm. The purpose of the amygdala's activation in such situations is twofold. Firstly, it serves to prepare our body for immediate response, commonly known as the fight or flight reaction. This includes increased heart rate, heightened senses, and a rush of adrenaline, all of which are aimed at dealing with the immediate threat. Secondly, and perhaps more subtly, the amygdala's response is a form of psychological self-preservation. By responding intensely to traumatic events, it creates a powerful emotional memory of the event, serving as a warning or alert system for similar situations in the future. This protective mechanism, while crucial for our survival in dangerous situations, can become a challenge when the amygdala becomes overly reactive as a result of repeated trauma. The amygdala starts to respond to not just genuinely threatening situations, but also to reminders or even vague similarities to the original trauma. This heightened state of alert can lead to various stress related symptoms and can impact our daily functioning and emotional well-being. Moreover, the amygdala's response to trauma is deeply embedded in our psychological makeup. It forms a significant part of our emotional processing and memory storage. The emotional memories stored in the amygdala are particularly vivid and enduring, often more so than our regular, everyday memories. These memories can be triggered unexpectedly, leading to a re-experiencing of the initial trauma, even if the actual threat is no longer present. The amygdala, a critical part of our brain's limbic system, plays a central role in how we process emotions, especially those related to fear and trauma. When traumatic memories or emotions are revisited frequently, the amygdala becomes repeatedly activated, setting a new baseline in our brain that is oriented towards stress. This new baseline is a stark departure from the brain states associated with positive emotions such as love, joy, or balance. Instead, it is entrenched in a physiological state dominated by the hormones of stress, like cortisol and adrenaline. This shift to a stress oriented baseline is not just a fleeting emotional response. It represents a fundamental change in our brain's functioning. The amygdala, being hyperactive, keeps the body in a constant state of alert, preparing for threats that may no longer be present. This state of hyperalertness affects the body's entire stress response system, often leading to a state of chronic stress. Prolonged exposure to the hormones associated with this stress response can have a wide range of detrimental health consequences. These health consequences can manifest in various forms. Physically, chronic stress can lead to issues such as hypertension, heart disease, and a weakened immune system, making the body more susceptible to illnesses. It can also disrupt sleep patterns, lead to fatigue, and cause muscle tension or pain. In terms of mental health, this continuous state of stress can exacerbate or lead to conditions like anxiety, depression, and PTSD. It can also impair cognitive functions like concentration, memory, and decision making. Moreover, living in a stress-oriented baseline impacts our daily life and relationships. It can make us more irritable, less patient, and more prone to overreacting to minor annoyances. Our ability to enjoy life and engage in positive experiences is significantly diminished as the brain is preoccupied with perceived threats and dangers. This state can create a negative feedback loop where the stress response further entrenches the traumatic memories making it increasingly challenging to break free from this cycle. The continuous activation of the amygdala and the corresponding release of stress hormones also affect other brain areas, such as the hippocampus, which is crucial for memory and learning. Chronic stress can lead to a reduction in hippocampal volume, further impairing our ability to process and store new information. This impairment can affect both personal and professional aspects of life, from strained relationships to decreased productivity at work. Furthermore, this stress oriented baseline can lead to the development of maladaptive coping mechanisms. People may turn to unhealthy habits like substance abuse, overeating, or social withdrawal as ways to cope with their heightened stress levels. These behaviors, while providing temporary relief, can lead to long term health problems and compound the existing issues related to chronic stress. It is also important to recognize the bidirectional nature of this relationship. Just as traumatic experiences and emotions can lead to a stress oriented baseline, this baseline can in turn make individuals more susceptible to experiencing events as traumatic. This increased sensitivity can create a vicious cycle where even relatively minor stressors are perceived as significant threats, leading to further activation of the amygdala. Our senses are perpetually engaged in evaluating our surroundings, vigilantly scanning for signs of safety or potential threats. This continuous sensory processing is deeply ingrained in our survival instinct. When we encounter a stimulus that resembles or reminds us of a past traumatic event, it triggers a response from the amygdala, the brain's center for emotional processing, especially fear and threat. This activation is more than just a fleeting reaction. It immerses us in the emotional state associated with the past trauma, effectively transporting us back to those moments. The activation of the amygdala in response to trauma triggers is a complex process. It involves not just the immediate emotional response, but also the preparation of the body to deal with potential threats. This preparation manifests in various physiological responses, such as increased heart rate, heightened alertness, and a surge in stress hormones. These responses are designed to prime the body for quick action, either to confront the threat or to escape from it. This subconscious mechanism, deeply embedded in our evolutionary history, serves a dual purpose. Firstly, it allows us to recall and learn from past traumas. By vividly re experiencing the emotions associated with these events, we are reminded of the circumstances and contexts that led to the trauma, which theoretically could help us avoid similar situations in the future. Secondly, this mechanism prepares us for potential future traumas. By keeping the memory of past traumas alive in our emotional responses, we remain alert and cautious, potentially enhancing our chances of survival in the face of future threats. However, while this evolutionary adaptation has clear survival benefits, it can become maladaptive in our modern context. In a world where physical threats are less prevalent, the amygdala's heightened response to trauma cues can lead to an array of psychological challenges, including anxiety disorders, phobias, and post traumatic stress disorder. These conditions can arise when the amygdala's response to trauma triggers becomes overly sensitized, or when the trauma memories are so powerful that they dominate our emotional landscape. Historically, the role of the frontal lobe in regulating emotional responses has been a focal point in neuroscience. It has been widely believed that the frontal lobe, particularly the prefrontal cortex, plays a crucial role in modulating the activity of the brain's emotional centers, such as the amygdala. This area of the brain is thought to act as a sort of moderator, tempering the more instinctual and primal responses generated by these emotional centers. The frontal lobe's involvement in emotional regulation is believed to be multifaceted. On one hand, it is involved in the cognitive processing of emotions, helping us understand and label our emotional experiences. On the other hand, it is thought to play a direct role in controlling the intensity and expression of these emotions. By exerting this control, the frontal lobe helps maintain a balance between our emotional and rational responses, ensuring that our reactions to stimuli are appropriate and measured. This control center function of the frontal lobe is particularly important in managing our survival instincts and reactions. In situations where our primal fear or stress response is triggered, the frontal lobe helps evaluate the threat and modulates our response accordingly. For example, if we perceive a threat that is not actually dangerous, the frontal lobe can help in reducing the amygdala's activation, thereby calming our fear response. Moreover, the frontal lobe's role in emotional regulation is also linked to our ability to plan, make decisions, and engage in complex social interactions. By regulating our emotional responses, the frontal lobe ensures that these higher order cognitive processes are not overridden by impulsive or irrational emotional reactions. This regulation is crucial for effective decision making, problem solving, and social communication. Furthermore, the frontal lobe's involvement in dampening emotional centers is also essential for our long term mental health. When the frontal lobe's regulatory function is impaired either due to injury, illness, or developmental issues, it can lead to a range of emotional and behavioral problems. These may include impulsivity, mood swings, anxiety, and difficulty in coping with stress. Recent advancements in the field of neurocardiology, particularly research conducted by the HeartMath Institute, have unveiled a fascinating insight into the heart brain connection. This research has identified the presence of afferent nerve fibers that run directly from the heart to the brain, including key areas like the amygdala. This discovery suggests that the heart plays a much more significant role in our bodily functions and emotional processing than previously understood, acting not just as a pump, but also as a secondary command center for the body. This heart to brain connection is crucial in understanding how emotions, particularly love, can influence our overall state of being. The direct communication line from the heart to the amygdala implies that the heart can have a direct impact on our emotional responses and stress regulation. When we engage in emotions like love, compassion, or gratitude, the heart communicates these states to the brain, potentially leading to a reduction in the amygdala's stress response and fostering a state of emotional harmony. The ability of love and other positive emotions to reset our brain and body's baseline from survival mode to a state of harmony is significant. In survival mode, our body is primed for fight or flight responses, which, while essential for acute stress situations, can be detrimental when prolonged. In contrast, when we experience profound emotions like love, the heart signals the brain to shift towards a more relaxed, harmonious state. This shift can lead to decreased stress hormones, reduced anxiety, and a general sense of well being. Furthermore, this heart brain connection highlights the role of the heart in our emotional lives. The heart's influence extends beyond physical health and plays a pivotal role in shaping our emotional experiences and reactions. Emotions felt deeply in the heart can alter our psychological state, impacting our thoughts, behaviors, and even our long term outlook on life. In addition, the research suggests that practices that focus on cultivating heart centered emotions could have profound effects on our mental health and emotional well being. Techniques such as heart, focused meditation, deep breathing, and practicing gratitude or compassion can actively engage this heart brain pathway and promote a more harmonious emotional state. This heart brain synergy also opens up new possibilities for emotional healing. For individuals suffering from trauma or chronic stress, learning to activate and strengthen this heart brain connection could be a powerful tool in their recovery. By consciously shifting focus to heart centered emotions, they can facilitate a more balanced emotional state, encouraging healing and resilience. The act of opening our hearts and embracing forgiveness is a transformative process with profound implications for our emotional and physical well being. When we consciously decide to let go of past traumas and grievances, we initiate a significant shift in our internal baseline, moving away from a state of constant alertness and stress towards one of balance and harmony. This journey towards forgiveness and release is not just an emotional or psychological exercise. It has tangible effects on our physiology, bringing us closer to a state of homeostasis, where our bodily systems function optimally. Letting go of past traumas involves more than just a decision to move on. It entails a deep, often challenging process of confronting and processing the emotions associated with these traumas. This process may involve grief, anger, and a range of other intense emotions. However, as we work through these emotions with an open heart, we gradually reduce their hold over us. The emotional burden begins to lift, and we start to experience a newfound sense of liberation. Embracing forgiveness, particularly in cases of deep hurt or betrayal, is a powerful act of self-healing. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean forgetting or condoning what happened, but rather releasing the emotional charge associated with the event. This release does not just free us from negative emotions, it also opens up space for more positive experiences and feelings, such as love, joy, and gratitude. These positive emotions further contribute to our shift towards a more balanced and harmonious state. This newfound state of harmony and balance brings numerous benefits. On a psychological level, it fosters a sense of inner peace and contentment, enhancing our mental health and overall outlook on life. Physiologically, it can lead to reduced stress levels, lower blood pressure, improved immune function, and overall better health outcomes. By achieving this state, we position ourselves to live more fully in the present, unencumbered by the weight of our past experiences. Moreover, this shift creates a fertile ground for personal growth and development. Freed from the grip of the past, we find ourselves with more energy and clarity to focus on our present and future. We become more open to new experiences, more resilient in the face of challenges, and more capable of meaningful connections with others. This openness is essential for creating a brighter, more hopeful future. The profound healing power of love plays a central role in this transformative process. Love, in its many forms, has the ability to heal wounds, bridge divides, and foster a deep sense of connection and belonging. It is a powerful force that can help us transcend our limitations and traumas, enabling us to reach our fullest potential, opening our hearts to let go of past traumas and embrace forgiveness is a transformative act that shifts our internal baseline towards a state of harmony and balance. This shift not only frees us from the past, but also paves the way for a healthier, more fulfilled, and hopeful future. It highlights the healing power of love and its crucial role in our journey towards emotional and physical well-being.